Welcome to the AM Club right here on MX24. You're welcome. You're welcome. This is the AM Club. My name is Miriam Udwak Mensah. We're going straight to Lifestyle Daily. And if you're just joining in, you make the right choice. This is the best morning show in the capital. Note that we are an award-nominated morning show. Yeah. And if you're just joining in, like I said earlier, you made the right choice. If this is your first time, welcome to the family. This is the AM Club. Now, this morning, we're going to be having a quick conversation on navigating your career path, that is insights and strategies. Those are the areas we're going to be focusing on. And joining us for this conversation is Antoinette Jan. She's a career strategist and coach. Good morning, Antoinette.
Good morning.
Hey, what we are singing. Okay, well, the energy. You don't worry. Welcome with the energy because I needed the energy boost.
Coffee.
Coffee. I've actually been banned from drinking coffee.
That's good.
So this life.
That's still moving.
Moving from above. I have God, I have everything.
Amen.
Welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
How
You're an
about
alpha too.
Yes.
We'll talk about that part of you.
Okay.
But today let's talk about career, navigating your career, strategies, and all that matters in building your career. Now, let me kickstart by asking, see how we left the man out?
I know this thing was going to happen, and he's just like, huh?
Like, he's just sitting there being cute, like, okay.
Why?
Like,
Kickstart.
We should continue.
Kickstart.
We should continue. We should leave you alone.
Ladies first. Go ahead.
Right. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that some of the skills we could identify in our person to help build a better career or to boost our career. Our careers. Is that a word? Careers. Career.
Very different careers.
Very different careers.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. So it depends on what you are trying to do. So, for example, if you are in a field like, say, journalism, and you have a job description that says A, B, and C, this is what is required of you, you need to be able to know what skills are in your job description, because sometimes people don't even know. They don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So if you've been given a job description that says you are supposed to do X, Y, Z, that is your first guide to be able to know what skills are relevant for you. We can say general things. For example, you need to know how to build your personal brand. You need to have negotiation skills. You need to know how to network. You need to know how to public speak. Those are general things that we can recommend for you. But as an individual, and when you are building your career, you need to know what your job description is, what the industry that you are in, how it's growing, and then what kind of trends are required in your industry. And so if you keep an eye on it, you grow with the changing trends, because sometimes people outgrow what is being done. So you are doing the same thing from 10 years ago, and it's disastrous because things are changing pretty fast, and you have to be able to keep up with the changes that are going on.
Now, let me backtrack a little bit. So, career development, one would say that I went to school, studied, I'm here. I studied to be employed. So what are you talking about when you say career development? Can you briefly explain to us what career development is?
Okay. So
I see you're excited about that question.
No, because sometimes, like, in my head, I'm just trying to find the best example.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, a child, you drink milk, right? And then you grow up and you're 10. You don't drink that formula anymore. But some people be doing things from KG and
never change.
Not even the change, the growth.
No, never grow.
And so career development is that growth that happens in your career. And so you start from an early career, you have your mid-career, then you have to advance, grow, leadership, whatever your ambitions are. Unfortunately, when people start off, just as you said, we go to school, we get your degree, you want to be employed. There is no plan as to what my path looks like, what is available for me within the industry, what am I going to do? And the problem is our life, we are just supposed to grow. And so if you are not growing, at some point for you yourself, you feel like there's something wrong because you are doing mundane things, people have surpassed you, things are not going as you expect it to go. So that is career development. When you start, you have to grow. That's the only way. So if you are sitting on the same role, the same job description, 15, 20 years, you have not grown. You have stagnated. And that's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
In a space where maybe the career path is not too broad, you know, because we do have some careers that you realize that it's intertwined. You know, you can move from stage A to stage B. It moves gradually. You get it. But in a space where maybe it's a personal thing, or you are in that space for quite a long time and it's not evolving. Personally, what are some of the things that you could do practically to evolve yourself whilst you're running through the career development process?
So for a question like that, I would like an example, but I will still answer you, because for whatever you are doing, even as an individual, if you're a journalist and you are running your own show, you are on the morning show for quite a bit, you shouldn't be doing the same thing that you were doing 10 years ago.
Okay.
You can learn different skills.
Okay.
You can learn how to present yourself differently, broaden your knowledge, find a niche area that you can grow in. And so that's innovation you bring to your work, or creativity, and how dynamic you become in your field is what will bring even you as an individual fulfillment. Because if you are doing the same thing over and over and over, it becomes boring. And you, again, you stagnate. And so you have to figure out how is the space or the industry changing?
Okay.
And how can I use that change to my advantage? I know a lot of people talk about AI and all of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make a whole fuss about it, and I'm like, I don't understand, because Google be doing this thing a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's just, we've just been given tools to make it easier. So if you are an individual in your field, you ask yourself, how can I use this new trend, or what can I do to innovate within my field? And that alone would also open new doors for you, because you're always growing, you are broadening your scope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, there have been times where people find themselves in one particular career path, and maybe because, as you said, they are not getting into other skills and not trying to evolve themselves. So they feel like, oh, I've been here, I've done that, nothing is working for me. And they move into another career. Now, thing here is, it could be that whilst they move to the other career, things are not also going to be good for them there. I hope you're getting me. So, and maybe if they had just been at where they are and maybe evolved more or read more or learn new skills, it could have helped them in one way or the other. That's a dicey decision. When do you know that, okay, this is not good for me anymore, let me move to the next one? Or well, are you of the view that, oh yes, I need to learn more to just be where I am and, you know, progress?
I want to backtrack a little bit. Sometimes when people are choosing the careers that they want to go into, they don't do enough research.
Okay.
People make decisions based off of, say, it's prestigious, or my friend did it, so let me also do it, or my uncle did it.
So based on influence.
Influence.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't asked yourself, what skills or talents do I have to be able to go into this field, develop myself, and thrive in it, then that becomes problematic. Because if you are going into something and you are not doing it for the right reasons, because you want to, say, be seen, or as you go along, and just as it is in life, you will face several obstacles or roadblocks. And so that is where your motivation comes in. What is influencing you or helping you to stay put in the face of obstacles? And sometimes, because the motivation is not right, that is where people would now not be happy, or not be growing, or not knowing what else to do, because then the reason why they went in wasn't right in the first place. That is something that can keep you in the game, even in the face of obstacle. Now, there's nothing wrong with changing career path.
Okay.
Nobody said that if you become one thing, you should do it
till you die.
till you die. Sometimes people feel like a career is a death sentence. It's not. Am I saying something?
No, no. I mean, I mean, a lot of people can relate to it, and I've chanced talking to people, and just they feel like, we would die for inside, you know. So that's why I'm laughing to it. Yeah.
Yes. So people feel like once you choose a certain thing, it's a death. It's not. You have so many talents or skills that even one lifetime is not enough to explore all of. And so if at some point you feel like with what I have learned, I can add something else to it and thrive in another industry with the right motivations, because one, you have the skills or you have the talent, you have the interest, you want to make a certain good or impact in that, then why not? And there is opportunity in that, why not? And so there are two sides to it. Sometimes people don't go through, don't go to career paths with the right motivations or intentions. And also sometimes people feel like once I have done this, people are going to judge me, or people are going to see me a certain way, so I have to continue to be that. It's not really the case.
So I chanced on this question on social media. It says, do you want it, or you just want people to see you have it?
Yep.
Right? And so that brings me to what you just said about whether you're going in there for the right reasons. And fulfillment, I believe, comes from doing the things that you actually really want to do, whether they are lucrative or not. But this will take me to my next, the other phase of our conversation. One would say setting long-term and short-term career goals. I was going to say financial goals. Career goals are very difficult to do. Like, how do I say that in the next 2 months I want to achieve this and actually do that? And how do I say that in the next 5 years my business or my career is going on this level and actually get it done? How do we set realistic career goals and live up to them? How do you do it? How do you just write it down? Give us the how to set long-term and long-term and short-term career goals.
Okay. So that aspect is part of career planning. And as I said before, anything without a plan, I haven't said it right, anything without a plan is a disaster.
I'm sure that you say that a lot.
I say it in my head, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
And so career planning, setting your goals is part of it. But it's not just about setting the goals, it's about your thought process when that is happening. And so for people, you have to be able to think about your mindset when you are setting goals. For you as an individual, if you've done some personal reflections and you've decided for yourself that this is where I want to see my career, this is the growth I want to see in the next, you have to do that personal reflection or assessment and say, I am here. I want to go to this path. And so that path where you want to go to, say, if you want to do it in 5 years or 1 year, you have the big goal that you have set, your long-term goal. What are the small things that I have to do to get to that big goal? So it looks like you are working backwards. So that working backwards, those are your short-term goals. And you can work backwards to what you have to even do today to get to that goal that you want to get to in the next 1 year.
So you have to be conscious about the things that you're putting in place for your growing career.
Yes.
For a 21st, are we still in 21st century?
Yeah.
For a millennial and a Gen Z, we've seen what we used to call career evolve. People are now building careers on social media, on mainstream media. Again, I mean, different places where we didn't even see people building. Like a couple of years ago, we only knew about brand ambassadors. We didn't know that there was going to be something like influencers, where conferences and things are even organized globally for them. Moving into spaces where that one would say are fresh spaces, untouched, very virgin. People are now identifying the know-hows. Is it okay to jump into a space without having the full view of what it is supposed to be like, and just launch yourself into it and get it done?
What do you think? That's not great, because
we have quite adventurous individuals lately.
But then you, the individual going into it, what's your game plan? Because that's where it becomes problematic
Yeah.
because for some people they would say, okay, I want to do this for 4 years, 5 years, but every day is a day to make a decision. So as you are going into it, what are your plans? You have to have something that guides you.
So
It's
whatever
like,
you do, you need to
you
have
need
a
to
plan.
be guided. It's like you are going, you don't have a roadmap. Then where are you going? I like an analogy I make that, for example, if you are going to Tamalim and then you're in a bus and there are different people in the bus and say you want to take, I don't know if you're going to take, you go to Kumasi and then maybe, I don't know, I may be giving the wrong directions, Sunyani and all of that. But then you start the journey, people get off at different places because maybe that's where they are going. Someone may get off at Pokwasi because that's really where they are going. But you are going to Tamale, so you have to keep your eye on the game and be in the bus. But if you get off where people are, because we go to Lindador, everybody is getting off. Some people may not be coming back. Maybe they've reached their destination. And you also get off and go and walk for about 2 hours. And then you are like, okay, this is not where I'm going. Where exactly am I going? I'm not sure. There is nothing that is guiding you. And I'm saying this and it might sound funny, but that is how people are playing out their careers. And so that guidance needs to come, and it needs to come from you. There's also the thing where, and it's important for me to say this, because sometimes people are doing the wrong things. I know that psychologically, nobody will sit down and decide that I'm going to be stuck in my career for 20 years. Along the way, they would have done several things, done a degree or two, done 2 masters, done certifications. But sometimes it's interesting, project management, something else, this, that, nothing directional. So even law. So you have a degree in admin, then law, then MBA in marketing, then another MBA in international development. Then, so you are not niching out well. And that is what personal branding does for you, because you need to be able to find what you can sell yourself with, your unique selling points. But if everything is scattered in the place, then what can we identify you with? Who are you?
Who are you? But because you know that question is coming up quite a lot now. Like, what do you do? How are you doing so many things? But then we've also created, did we create? Okay. We found a very fancy name for it now. Multi-talented or multitasking human being, right? So I can sing, I can do this, I can do that. And it's it's really not directional. But like, I can do all of them. Would you advise, and I personally, because I know you would ask me, what do I think? So let me tell you already before you start. I don't think that limiting yourself to doing one thing is a thing. I think you should explore as long as you can and get into all the things that you want to get into as long as you have the energy and the desire to do them. What do you think?
I think that it's the direction that counts. You have all these different things that you are doing. Sometimes people actually say that I don't know because I have too many things that I want to do and I want to do all of them. So then the question I ask is, would you rather miss out on all of them than to find 1 or 2 that you can work on and hone your skills in and actually go out and do something out of that than try to do everything and be nothing? Do you see? So you can have different skills. And I said before that one lifetime is not enough, that I've said it right. So I have many things that I want to do, but I know that I can't do all of them. So you have to figure out that which ones are the lowest hanging fruit or which ones are the most viable in the marketplace. There are some you can combine, yes, but how, because you need to have that niche. Otherwise, people cannot see you for anything, and you have to be able to have that unique selling point.
Right.
And so, of course, we have many gifts, but if they come together in a certain way, and then you can brand yourself in that, why not? But if they are too scattered, then you need to find 1 or 2, and then
Now,
build your skill with it.
in developing your career, can you highlight some of the major challenges that one could face moving in that direction, trying to not be stagnant, like you said, building and developing your career? What are some of the challenges we could face?
Okay, so the first place I want to go to, and it's something that people don't like, they hate to hear it, is the mindset. Sometimes we look around us and we think of what is possible and what is not. And I don't blame anybody. We all face it. But you also need to challenge yourself and have a growth mindset. What does that mean? It means that you know and believe that you have the ability to learn new things, to grow, and to expand yourself. And so if you set your mind to certain things within your career, you'll be able to work towards them. Sometimes people get stuck because they have resigned themselves to a certain belief system that once I am in this space or this industry, say the government sector, I can't go to other places even with my skills. Or some people also have imposter syndrome and believe that I can't do certain things. Well, people can do it. Maybe they can, but I cannot. And so that mindset is the first place where people begin to grow some kind of beliefs or ideas about their career path, that okay, if you have this, you are lucky to have this, so stay there. And then you stay there, then you realize that you've been stuck. So that is one place. Another place is where people are not evolving with the changing times. And so that, when I'm going to cause trouble, then I smile.
Nice one.
Yes. So that your degree from 10, 15 years ago,
Yeah.
you need to learn new things from on top of that.
And I agree with you.
Yes.
Sometimes you look back and we're like,
I polished it, what I was going to say.
because what you really wanted to say was on your face.
So you need to build on it.
Yes.
You need to evolve with the changing times.
Yeah.
You need to always be doing things that would separate you from the pack. Because we are many. And I like this analogy. If you look at the triangle, the bottom is big. And as you go up, it becomes narrow. So you need to ask yourself, what do I do to distinguish myself? What will be the divider that will take me from this block to the next block? Because then otherwise you will be stuck with the power at the bottom. And because the space up is very narrow, you need to do the things that will get you to where you want to get to. And sometimes people say they want A, they want B, but they are not willing to do the work it takes to get there. That is one of the challenges that I face as a coach, because people would say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. But then when you ask them, you need to commit to XYZ hours a day to do this. You need to read this. You need to do this. You need to put yourself out there, go for networking events. They don't want to be uncomfortable. Don't point at anybody.
It's me.
You are raising your hand.
Me.
Okay. So
Networking is hard for me.
people should actually do the things that they say they really want and let it show. Because if you are saying you want one thing and you are doing the easy things, everybody is doing what is easy. And so then you are going to be at the bottom. But you have to challenge yourself and put yourself so that you can go up the triangle.
Right.
And then the last part is you need to have a guide. You need to have a roadmap. You need to have a career plan. You need to have a plan. And you need to do the right things, which means that if you have to get help, you get help. Because sometimes people don't get help and then they will just be doing the wrong things and then they will be wasting their time.
Okay. Speaking about help, what role would mentorship play here? And also, who would be that, or how do you get to find a suitable mentor? Because in every career path, you'd realize that there's so many people who are out there who've done it before, but it's not everyone's step that probably you could watch and say that, okay, because we're all different human beings. So first of all, what role does mentorship play here? And also, how best do you find that suitable mentor?
Okay. So a mentor is someone who supports you based on their own experience. And so the catch here is, and that's why I was smiling, the catch here is that whatever, the thing that you want to do, a mentor is someone who's already done it and can support you in that area. the mistake that we make is that sometimes we look at someone, and I've made it before. So someone who may be accomplished, but not necessarily in the path that you want to be in. And so they do not understand what it is that you want to do. And so if you are at the feet of someone who does not know or has not walked the path that you want to walk in, it's a problem because they cannot guide you. And so you have to now ask yourself, what I want to do, where I want to go, who has accomplished something in that specific area. And sometimes even you can take journalism, it's broad.
Yes.
There are so many paths. So you don't just pick anybody because they are popular or people know them or they are accomplished, but find the person who can really help you. The second point is that when people approach people that, oh, I want to be a mentee, it's always, every relationship has to have like a mutual benefit. So you going into it need to find a way that you can also support the individual. It's not, people shy away from being mentors often because the relationship is what do they call it?
Just
it's
giving.
one way. I want to say lopsided. So then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So you also have to find a way. And people don't want to give. They want to take. Oh, I've met this person. Suddenly they want a person to be dishing money to them. They want to... It's a whole wrong idea and entitlement. I don't know where it's coming
Then when
from.
they don't get it, then it's a problem.
Then
Yes,
it becomes
then
a
it
problem.
becomes a
Then
problem.
people are fighting and they
bad
start
people.
blocking people here, left, right,
Yes.
center.
So, and sometimes also the intentions are not right.
Yeah.
You say you want someone to mentor you. It's not really mentor you want them to. You want them to open doors for you.
Yeah.
That's what you really want. So you are going in with only that mind. There is a certain mindset that needs to change. That if you have to serve, to also be served. It's the Bible says it. So if you are going in, you also have to be willing to give. And the other things will come by itself. And so the intentions of people would also be important. So make it clear if you are having a relationship conversation with somebody whom you are looking for support from. Let them know exactly and honestly what you need so that they will be able to help you in that regard and not create a different impression and have a different expectation and then they don't match, there is dissonance and then you are upset.
Okay. Devoid of the distractions and whatnots that will come your way as you're developing your career and alongside, how best can we stay focused and achieve whatever we want to achieve? Because sometimes, let's be honest, this could be really, really hard. So how do we stay focused, motivated? Because someone will say, oh, today I don't really have money, so I'm not even motivated to go to work, or the economic hardships and all that. So, as I said, devoid of every distractions. How do we stay focused?
Okay, so that focus will still be in the career plan that I talked about. If you have a goal, you have a vision of yourself, who you want to become. Do you see? Who you want to become, and that is in your mind. You see it in your mind. You have the picture playing in your mind clearly. Then the distractions will happen, yes, but you have to keep your mind on the goal. Your motivation should be right on what it is that you want to do, because when the obstacles come, you need to be able to keep your... When we started the month, Thomas Edison has been on my mind because we did a book club conversation.
Okay.
And I think he said, I have not failed 10,000 times, but I have found 10,000 ways, 10,000 different ways of doing something that got me closer. I'm paraphrasing. That got me closer to my goal. So those challenges on your way, they are not there to set you back.
Okay.
They are actually there to push you forward.
Okay.
It's just that you do not see it that way. Because every challenge, every failure that you have is a lesson. And that lesson is taking you closer to the goal. So you have to see in that failure or challenge or whatever you are going through, what it is that you can learn from that to propel you forward. Because it's in that you grow.
Yeah.
So you keep your focus, learn from the failures,
Yeah.
keep a positive mindset, and continue to push.
The saying is charity begins from home. All right. Now, I do know that if we should do a survey, we should go out there and do a survey and ask everybody, when you were a child, what did you say you want to be? And the person says, oh, doctor, lawyer, but what are you now? Different thing altogether. What are some of the advices that you could give to, parents out there, nurturing their children as far as career development is concerned? Because if you ask the children today, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to be this. I want to be that. Then maybe in the next 18 years or 20 years, probably they don't find themselves even in that track line. So what would be the advice you give to them, devoid of, the financial stuff? Because some parents will go in all out. Some will be restrained just because, I can't take this child to this particular school or whatnot. But what would be that advice, special advice to them?
So I had an amazing conversation with junior high 3, how they say?
JHS3.
JHS3 students in Abuabo.
Okay.
I did a lovely thing, and it was a good conversation. I loved it. And we're talking about how people decide the pathways, because they are still young, they're
Yes.
fresh, they are choosing their courses
Yes.
for secondary school
Yeah.
and all of that. And it was a good conversation. So I'll say what I said then. When you are choosing your career path, people, people would say, I want to be a doctor because that's what I see, or I want to be, what are you good at? Because those are your cues. It's so plain. I don't know how it's difficult. What are you good at? And we took a test, and people could see the things that they have interest in, the things that they are good at, what people compliment them in. And it's pointing to a certain path. And some of them are insisting. Okay, so I'll give an example. Someone was very good. They came to tell me that, okay, they are good at English, they like writing, they like speaking. So it's pointing towards a certain direction.
Yeah.
And if you have the talent already in that, you can build skills that hone in on that, and you will thrive even in the face of obstacle. But they were telling me they want to be a science student because somebody is a science student and this and that. How will you thrive if you don't have the skills to be able to do that which you want to do?
Yeah.
So the cues are there. We just have to look. Somebody is good at drawing, all of that. Maybe they have to be an architect. But if we are, it's just like you said, you want to put you want to put a square peg in a round hole. And we do that a lot. And that is what causes the problem.
Yeah.
And people are still recovering from choices they made
Yeah.
from senior high school,
Some regrets.
university,
Yeah.
and it piles up. And people are still making decisions that would compound that already wrong decision because they don't want to be judged when they go back or backtrack to try to make the right decision based on talents they have or skills they've built. So that's what I'll say.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
So one will be, one of the conversations that keep coming up is, oh, I know how to do something. I'm passionate about something, but I also want to do something else. So I'm passionate about singing, but I want to veer into engineering too. What would you advise anybody to do? Choose something they admire or something they're passionate about.
So it goes back again to what are the motivations?
Right.
What is the reason why? Because that has to be solid.
Right.
Because that is what is going to guide you for the duration of the time that you are in that profession. So there has to be, the book Simon Sinek, it says, find your why.
Yes.
The why has to be important. That's what we are missing. Why? Why do you want to do that thing? Because sometimes you ask them, oh, what do you want? They will tell you what I want to do. But then why? They can't tell you why. Then how can you go far? If you don't have the reason? Because that is what will hold you in. And for the obstacles of life is normal. Because when it's morning, it will not be morning till forever. Evening will come, and then there's morning again. So that evening will happen to everybody along your career path, whether you hate it or not.
Yeah.
And so that why is what will keep you in your evening. And so whatever you are choosing, if you are passionate about singing, why? If there is no why, then no. But if you are doing engineering, you want to do a certain, you want to create something, you want to help something, you identify the problem that you want to support and all of that. That is good motivation. So the why is what should help you in choosing what you want to do.
Personally, for yourself, what did you set out to do when you were coming up? What did you want to be? And are you living that now? Or you had to move aside to go and look for your why?
I don't really remember very well what I said I would do, perhaps maybe when I was 6 or 7 or 8.
Yeah.
But what I know is that I am a teacher. So there are a lot of, I've picked people's children and put them somewhere. I'll be teaching them what I don't know. I'll bring my parents have suffered. I'll be bringing them into my parents' hall, and then I'll be teaching. I'm nurturing, and so I've done Sunday school, I've taught at Sunday school, all of that. So I know that I am a teacher. Those are my cues. But along the line, when I was choosing my course in junior high, our teacher said, oh, look at somebody you admired. And I put it in my book. Look at someone you admire and all of that. And then I said, oh, I want to be an architect, because one of my cousins, but he's a bit older, is an architect and he was doing well and all of that. And I thought, oh, that's somebody I admire. I'm going to do it. Thank God for tech people that rejected me. And I had to go and do English and psychology in Legon. And so I went into communication, which is also something that I enjoy and I love to do. And then, so that teaching that was there from childhood is what I am doing
You're
now.
doing now. So you did courses, or you got yourself educated in areas, not that you wanted to go to tech, and then Legon chose you.
No, I wanted to do architecture.
Architecture. So what did you want to do that in tech, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you didn't, you couldn't.
Yes.
So would you say, you believe in God, right? God
Of
navigated you back into
That conversation, we cannot go into
cannot
that
go
one
into
here. We cannot finish that one here.
We cannot. We cannot. But somehow you found yourself in Legon, did communication,
English and psychology first, then communication.
English and psychology, which, by the way,
That combination
traits of a teacher.
Yeah.
You need to be, psychologically, you need to be,
All the mindset thing I'm talking about.
exactly, comes from that. So do you feel like you're living your dream?
Living my best life.
Oh my God. Talking about living your best life, you have a book. But before we get into her book, someone has been buzzing our WhatsApp this morning, and we would like to touch on that quickly before we go. He says, good morning, MX24. I love your shows, and I enjoy every one of them. I want to take this platform to wish myself a happy birthday today. I pray for more grace and mercy, overflow of favor, and his protection in my life. And this coming from Nene Felix. He says he watches it every morning. Nene Felix, happy birthday to you, July
He's
born.
a July born.
Yes.
Nene Felix.
Happy birthday to you.
Correct
From all of
guy.
us here on the AM Club, we wish you a happy birthday. So now let's get into your book.
Odd numbers.
First of all,
You don't get
the
yourself copyright.
I will just hold it for now. I mean, Antoinette doesn't want to give me a copy, but it's fine.
how I buy my books. And when I was telling my mom was looking at me like, Ma. That's exactly what she said. She was like, Ma. When I get into a bookshop, the cover has to look good. Then I'll be looking for the title of the book. Because I want to put it I want when it goes on my shelf, it look aesthetically beautiful. I like the colors. So when the color of your book got my attention when I came to sit down. And so first of all, I like it already. But it's called, and I love nude colors too.
Lovely.
So Odd Numbers, Building a Meaningful Career from Antoinette Jan is your project. How did this come about?
Okay.
Or you just said one day I write a book, and then when you got the opportunity, you wrote a book.
No.
Okay, so tell us.
So when I started this in 2020, I started coaching in 2020. The journey started 2019, but I actually started in 2020. And then I was having a conversation with one of my good friends, and he said, okay, in this field, if you write a book, it's good. It's because you can't reach everybody with coaching and etc. But if you put something in a book and you make it accessible to people, you reach more people and impact more people. And that's what I want to do. I want to impact people. And so I started to write. It took me 2 years to actually do this. It's something I'm very proud of. So it took me 2 years to do it, but I did it. And yeah.
Something got my attention. And I think I want to talk about it.
Talk about it.
You deserve better than being unfulfilled. Yes. Yes. Live Your Best Life career coach and communication consultant Antoinette Jan discusses how to develop a meaningful career in her book, Odd Numbers. You deserve better than being unfulfilled, people. I always say that sometimes when it's the small things you do that you love can bring you fulfillment more than the big things that you're aspiring to do. And I find, well, let's not talk about myself. Let's talk about you. When you're saying that you're very proud of yourself because you took 2 years to write this and finally it's here. But what really makes you proud about this? What is it about the book that makes you really happy? Do you feel fulfilled by it, by bringing this book out?
Yes.
What brings the fulfillment?
So the fulfillment, but you moved away from the unfulfilled. Or that's what we are talking about?
No, we're talking about fulfillment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what makes me happy about it is that the discipline that it took to do it and actually going through to do it. Because Zig Ziglar says something that it is not the destination that we aim for, but who we become in the process.
Say that
when
again.
So when we do something,
Yeah.
it is not the end. It is not for the end
Yeah.
that we do it, but who we become in the process. Right. And so the discipline, the commitment to actually do it and go through with it, launch it, because as I said, the main aim is to bring it to many audiences, have people read it, and be able to, I put a career planning course in it, be able to make decisions. And I see it firsthand, like how people are making decisions based off of reading this book, knowing that, no, I'm playing small, this is not what I want to do, I need to do more, I deserve more, I am going to be bold and courageous and do the things that are worthy of me, and I've seen people do it. And so that is what makes me proud, that I'm able to bring it to audiences.
How do we get this book? Where do we get it from?
Before something caught your attention. Me too, something has caught my attention.
Okay.
Easy.
So, from pages 79
Okay,
to
let's
80
see.
to 81, what I've realized is that you've left so many spaces for people to assess themselves. Wow. So, would you say that this book is also a self-assessment of one's self? Apart from you just reading it, because you would have to know your strengths, your weaknesses, and your prowess. Towards it. So would you consider it that way?
Okay, so that part that you are referring to is part of part 2.
Part 2.
So there is part 1, which is something I call introspection.
Okay.
Like my internal monologues.
Okay.
So I'm having conversation with myself, but I'm also having it with you.
Okay.
There are some things that we feel so uncomfortable about that we don't even say them out loud. So I've become that person or that friend that you can actually go and hide somewhere and then have this conversation about the career, those things that you are afraid to talk about,
Yes.
because of course your bread and butter is tied to that,
Yeah.
and all of that. So those are the internal monologues, and you can feel like this is where I can share it with someone. So the part 2 is the career planning course.
Okay.
So the limiting beliefs, the self-assessment, all those things, so that's what you are
That's what
referring
I'm
to. So
referring.
that's the course
Okay.
that you have. And then the part 3 is blogs that I wrote from 2020. All of that. People say that's also one of their favorites because it was fresh. It was just when I was starting,
Okay.
and all of that. So you would see how I've grown and all of that from that. But I like being vulnerable and truthful. So I leave things as it is for people to see the journey and the process of things. So,
So you poured yourself into this book, like literally yourself.
I have used this word before. The Holy Spirit has spoken to you.
Then finally, we found ourselves on the show before we could wrap up the show, okay? Are we wrapping up, or do you want more to...
No, I have more to ask.
Hey, please go ahead, why?
I have more to ask because, we talk a lot with people and practically, what's happening in Ghana. So you realize that a lot of people want to leave the country and go to the States, to the UK, in search of better jobs or whatever it is. You get it. And we've had the notion, for those of us who've not been there too as well, you realize that those who are there will tell you, oh, abroche die, unya white collar jobs, so and it's just been, and especially even with the nursing bit, realize that a lot of nurses are even leaving the country and going out there. So, what's the best advice now as far as this economic hardship is going on and people trying to navigate through, should I leave my job here? Should I leave Ghana, go and look for another job in another country and all that? What's the best advice? And also, should money be the end goal?
Okay, so let's take the first one.
Yes.
It's not a one-size-fits-all for people. That is why we even have introspection for individuals. It's this choice is not something that someone will make for you. You make for yourself. And often people run away from making choices for themselves because then if it goes wrong, then they want to find who to blame. But you have to make your choice for yourself. And again, I'm saying that what is the plan? If you are going in blind because everybody is going, you will go where is not your destination. That's not where you are going, no, but you went because people are going there. So you've ended there, but you don't know what it is that you are doing there. So what is the plan? What is the game plan? For some people, it is that I'm going there 2 years to something. And then this is what I want to do. Most definitely,
you need a plan.
You need a plan. You need a plan. There's nothing that, particularly even for your career, which is tied to money. So you need to know what it is that you are doing. You need to do research on what it is that you are doing. What are the opportunities, prospects? What can I do? Because it's not just about going to do all these things, but who you are becoming. Who you are becoming is what will matter at the end of the day. And so you as a person, what is your value system? And that value system should guide you in these choices that you make. Because these ones, nobody can guide you. Like, nobody can make the decision for you. There is the money aspect, which you said that is money the only motivation. We all like a good life. And then they say, what? Soft life.
Life.
And then they said,
baby girl
and then
life.
they said, there's a new one, they said, Steez. What's that?
No, Steez did a drip ni attitude. Drip ni attitude and make Steez no. What dripping on the attitude now? You're not seizing.
So you need the money to steez.
To steez.
Okay. So people say the steez and everything. Money is important, definitely, and we have to do things that are economically viable, etc. But it is not the only thing. There are different aspects. And sometimes people make it look like if you are in something that is not fulfilling you, the other aspects will go wrong because you've made a decision. People always look at, okay, you take a coin, there's a head, there's a tail. But when people are talking, there's a 50% chance for everything. But they make it sound like you will feel 100%. Like the mind feels, so there's a certain fear that is tied to money. And that is why the mindset thing is important. Of course, different things, that's what I'm saying, day and night. It happens. And so you should also still again look at what are my values? What do I want to achieve?
Where do we get the book?
Okay, so book. Where do we get you?
Where do we get you?
Vidya Bookstore, Osu and Laboni. You can get it in East Legon to my good friend Evic store. She has copies over there. So if you want to get copies, you can get there. And then it's also on Amazon. So that's where people can purchase.
And on social media, your social media handles?
Araba Africa.
That's your name on social media?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so if I was going to look for Antoine and I'll find you.
Araba Africa, so that's the business name.
That's a business name.
Yes, Araba is my paternal grandmother, and so I'm using that to represent women, the African women, because I believe that women should thrive. And sometimes you see a lot of women that are not thriving because of different things. And so that's the Araba Africa.
Awesome. Listen, we've had a great time with you. You are indeed a teacher, and thank you so much for coming and sharing yourself with us. If you're just joining in, sorry, we just had a great conversation. You can go back on X and get the entire show right there on XSMX24 TV on X. But ladies and gentlemen, we're moving straight to the plug right after this.